So we are saying that simple interest is equal to principal amount multiplied by the rate, which is the interest rate, then multiplied by the time in terms of period. Then, before we consider this example, I want to show you something important. So, as we deal with the topic of interest, you also need to know what an amount normally is. So, when it comes to an amount, we are saying that an amount, this is when a person, for example, takes a loan from the bank, and we say that he has to return the principal together with the interest. So that total returned money is now becomes is called the retained amount, or other books they just put it as amount. So this amount, we are giving you the formula for the amount. We are saying amount A, denoted by letter A, is equal to principal plus simple interest plus simple interest. So this is the formula we'll be using to calculate our retained amount, or amount as other books put it. So we break down this formula. We will say amount is equal to principal is denoted by letter P plus simple interest. Then we are saying principal plus PRT. So the PRT we are normally replacing with the simple interest formula. So we are now saying that retained amount A is equal to, so since P plus PRT, the common factor here is P. So we'll say P plus 1 plus RT. So we can now factorize. So now this becomes our formula for calculating amount in terms of total retained amount on either an investment, or on your savings, or on your loan, in terms of interest. So now let's go back now to our example. So we are told now that Robert purchased a car worth $48,000. He borrowed the money from the bank at 10% per annum for a period of 4 years. How much amount he has to pay after the period? So we'll begin by saying, let's put this here. So we'll begin by saying our data. So from the question, we have a principal amount, which is so we'll say our principal amount is $48,000. So just say 48,000. Then we are told that
Hello, before, sorry for disturbing.
Yes,
Maybe
please.
you can just bring back the screen for those calculations to drive to the formula.
Okay. You're still copying.
Just briefly. Sorry. Yeah, I was copying now the somewhere where I made the mistake.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that feedback. Okay, so we are saying that our P, which is the principal amount for Robert, is 48,000. Then our rate, we are saying he borrowed the money from the bank at a rate. So we will say our R. So we'll say our R. So our R, which is the rate, is at 10%. So this 10%, when we divide it over 100, it will become 0.1. Then we are told that the time period is 4 years. So the time period is 4 years. Now, let me talk something about time. So when we are doing when we are calculating for interest rates, time sometimes may not always be given as in years or in annum. So, for example, when the time, let's say you have been given like 22 months. So, how to go about it is, we know that in a year there are 12 months. So, you divide 22 over 12. Then the answer you have, you will find that is your time. So let's say 22 divided by 12, and that is 1.83. So now this becomes your time per annum. So the formula for solving interest rates, it always computes in annums. So it is important that when you are given the question in months, you convert those in annum or in years. So I thought that I should mention that to you as we make progress. So then what are we looking for? We are now looking for an amount. We are looking for an amount. So an amount is what we are looking for. So we can say the retained amount at the end of this period. So the man, in short, we are saying that the money he is going to pay back after a period of 4 years of this loan. So we will now bring in our formula, which I'm just from giving you, which is the A amount is equal to P1 plus RT. Then we are going to replace the values into this formula. So we are saying our principal was 48,000. That is our principal amount. Then multiply by, let me just write it from this end. let me just do this. So, okay, I'm writing from here. Okay, so we are saying our principal amount is 48,000. Then 1 plus, then we are saying our rate we have been given as 10%, which is 0.1. Then multiply by our time in years was given as 4 years. So let's compute this. You can get your calculator, then compute what is in the brackets. So get your calculator, then say open bracket 1 plus 0.1 times 4, then close bracket. So we'll have 1.4. Then say 1.4 multiplied by 48. So say 48,000 multiplied by 1.4. Then our answer now becomes $94,080. Are we getting the same? Sorry. So our answer,
I'm getting 67,200.
yes. So our answer now is 67,200. So we can even put the symbol for dollars. So therefore, amount to be paid at the end of this loan is equal to 67,200. Okay, so this is the amount that Robert is expected or was expected to pay at the end of the loan period. Now let's also consider another example. Can I move my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So we'll consider now another example. So okay, so given that if Maria borrowed a sum of 64,500 for a period of 21 months at 20% per annum.
So we can see the full screen stuff. Kadona
Others,
I'm able to see.
others,
I can see as well.
others.
Okay, I can see as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so if Maria borrowed the sum 46,500 for a period of 21 months at 20% per annum, Then find the simple interest that she will pay. So let's do our tradition. Our tradition is that every question we have to collect some more data. So we'll say data for this question. So we are saying that Maria borrowed a sum of 46,000 for a period of 21 months per annum. Then find the simple interest that she will pay. So the amount we have been given, the amount. So we'll say P is equal to 46,000. Then we have our time in terms of period, it is 21 months. So then we say 21 over 12. In a year, there are 12 months. So what are we getting? So we are getting 1.75. Okay. Then we have been given our rate. So our rate is at 20%. So we'll say 20%, 20 over 100, this becomes 0.2. So now, so we know that our formula for calculating simple interest is that simple interest is equal to PRT. So P, which is the principal, then multiply by the rate, then multiply by the time, which is the period. So we are saying our principal amount is 46,000. Then we are saying our rate.
So is it 46,000 or 46,500?
Okay, thank you for that. Without a 500. Without a 500. Okay, thank you. So, and we are saying our rate is at 0.2. Then we are saying that our time multiplied by our time is at 1.75. So what are we having? So when you get your calculator, you just compute the way it is, then to give you this as your final answer, which is 16,275. So we shall now therefore say that Maria, we shall say Maria is going to pay Maria is going to pay 16,275 275 as simple interest on the money Maria intends to borrow. Are we okay? Can we move?
Wait, copy. We'll come back. Thank you.
Okay, no, you can still copy. There's no problem. Okay, so we proceed. So let's look at another example. Let's look at another example here. Let's say paste. Okay, so we are now looking at the example 3. So example 3 is telling us how much was invested at 5% annual interest for 4 years to earn 3,500. So
Sorry. I think let me take it back on the same question, example 2.
okay.
I think I'm confused somewhere.
Yes, please.
What are we calculating here? It's simple interest.
Okay, so example 2 was saying find the simple interest that she will need
The simple
to pay.
interest.
Yes. So it's saying, yes, so that is what we are looking for.
So which formula are you using? The A equals P brackets 1 plus or the other one, the one you wrote HI P times R times P. I think I'm confused with that one.
Okay, are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, I'm pretty much.
Okay, so let me just quickly run through you this question. So the question is saying if Maria borrowed a sum of 46,500, so this sum, this was the principal money which Maria was given, the principal money she borrowed. Where when you go to the bank, you borrow. That money they give you is a principal amount. Then the banks now calculate interest on top of this money this Maria has borrowed. So now the bank has told Maria to say it will take a period of 21 months for her to pay back, and the interest per annum will be accumulated at 20%. Then, yes. Then what you are asked to find is now find the simple interest that you pay at the end of this whole loan period. So we are finding the total amount she will pay as interest at the end of this loaning period. Then we are saying that simple interest from our general formula is that P times R times T. So P, we are saying this is the principal amount. Then R,
Okay.
then R is the rate.
Okay.
Then T is the time. So we are saying time.
So in this case, see, in this example, we are not using the first formula, the one we use in example 1.
Okay, so in example 1, we were asked to calculate an amount. Here,
Okay.
yes,
I get a point. I get. Okay.
yes.
All right. No. I'm back. Okay. I'm back on track. Thanks.
Okay, so here everything now from here it's okay.
It's okay. Thanks.
Okay, you make progress. So example 3, we are considering an hypothetical situation here. So we are told that how much money was invested. So there is a person who had invested some monies at 5% per annum using simple interest for a period of 5 years to earn 3,500. So this is the amount, the total amount this person is going to earn. So now what we are told now to look for is the principal amount. We don't know the principal amount in this question. So let's do our tradition. Let's get some data. So we shall say data. So when we are doing these calculations, it's important that you list down some data you have been given in your question. So say our rate, we have been given our rate. So we say R. So say R is equal to 5%. This is our rate. Then we'll divide 5% by 100. So we'll say 5 over 100. Then we'll get 0.05. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Then we have been given the period in terms of time. So the period, this all will take is 4 years. So it took 4 years for these investments to mature. Then we have been given an amount. This amount now, the one you have been from asking about. So we are saying the amount is amount, we are saying it is also, we can say, the total retained or earned amount at the end of an investment period. So the amount is 3,500. So we are now asked to how much money was invested. So when you take you who's the owner, we are calling you as the principal person. So when you take the money and put it in whatsoever investment, that money becomes the principal amount. So in this case, we don't know the amount of money which was put towards this investment, and that is what we are trying to look for. So we will therefore consider this formula. A, which is amount, is equal to P, which is the principal, then 1 plus RT, close bracket, RT, then close the bracket. So once we have this formula, our next step is to replace our values in this formula. So we already have some values. So start replacing these values in the formula. So an amount we have as 3,500. So say 3,000. It's not writing. So say 3,000. Okay, so we say 3,500 is equal to P, which is the principal, then open bracket 1 plus the rate. We are saying the rate is 0.05. Then we multiply the rate by the time, which is 4. Then close bracket. Okay, so you can now get your calculator and solve what is in the bracket. So in the bracket we'll say open bracket 1 plus 0.05 multiplied by 4, close bracket, then you have 1.5. So we'll say equals P, which is the principal, is equal to 1.5. Then here we already have a 3,500. So since we are looking for P, which is the principal, we can now make P the subject of the formula. So we will eliminate 1.5, then we'll say over.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, just come back. Sir, just come back on the calculations in the bracket.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, so it's giving you 1.2, not 5, 1.2.
1.2, yes.
Yes, it's giving you 1.2. So let's be calculating. As I tell you to calculate, as well, let's also be calculating so that we move together. So it's 1.2, 1.2. My calculator is in, okay, it's back in degrees, it was in radians. So, okay now, madam. So we say 1.2. So we can now even cancel now. So this will cancel, this will cancel. So we therefore now say P is equal to, so 3,500 divided by 1.2. What are we getting? So it will give you
2,916.67.
So 3,500 over 1.2, that is 29,000, not 29, 2,916, then 0.67. 7. So this was in dollars, huh? So don't forget to indicate. If it's in kwacha, you indicate. If it's in dollars, you indicate. If it's in naira, you indicate. If it's in rands, you indicate. So this was the principal amount that was put forward in this investment. Okay, so let's also consider another example. Okay. I can move my screen. Okay. So let's consider this example. Okay. So this example is saying that Anita has 23,000. She invested some amount in a scheme A at a simple interest of 20%, and the remaining amount in scheme B at 10%. If Anita got the same amount from both of the scheme at the end of 1 year, therefore, calculate how much in kwacha Anita invested in scheme B. So, as per tradition, we would say data. So it's important that at every point you collect your data. Okay, so we are now collecting our data. So from this data, we are told that this Anita had a certain amount in total, which was she had the money at disposal, which was a 23,000. Then she decided to invest in two schemes. So one scheme was given an interest of 20% of the total investment amount. Then the other scheme, which is scheme B, was also given an interest, which was much lesser, and this was a 10%. Then we are told that Anita got the same amount for both schemes at the end of 1 year. Now they are asking us to calculate how much in kwacha Anita invested in scheme what? Scheme B. So we will say that scheme A. So we'll start with scheme A. So we'll say scheme A. Scheme A. Scheme A. Okay, so we'll say scheme. So we'll say scheme A. Okay, so we'll say scheme A. Under scheme A, we know that our formula when we're doing with simple interest is equal to SI is equal to P times R times T. Okay, so then we are saying our P, we don't know. That is what we are actually looking for. We don't know the amount. So since we don't know this amount, we will say P, we will say as X amount. We don't know the amount. Then multiply by the rate. So in scheme A, our interest rate was at 20%. Are we following? Follow me closely as we calculate this question. Then we are saying that our time for this whole period of this investment was taken as 1 year. So say 1 year. Then we are saying simple investment. Simple interest. So we'll say simple interest for scheme A. So we'll put a small a here. Okay. So
Sorry, why did you put X there?
Okay.
Instead of P.
So I was explaining, and I'm saying that we have this formula, which is simple interest is equal to PRT. So from the data above, we are told that this girl called Anita had 23,000, which she decided to put into 2 investment schemes. So among the 2 investment schemes, there was scheme A and scheme B. And we are told that scheme A was given a return on an investment of 20%, and scheme B was given a return on the investment as 10%. Then we are told that at the end of the year, this Anita got the same amount from both schemes, meaning from both scheme A it was the same amount, and from both scheme B it was the same amount. Now, what we are looking for here is how much in kwacha that Anita invested in scheme B. So now I was gathering data here saying that from our formula PRT, I was saying the principal amount we don't know, and that is what we are also looking for. We don't know the principal amount. We only know the amount which was put at which she had. We don't know the principal amount for scheme A. We only know that Anita had 23,000 and she decided to invest in 2 schemes. So we don't know the principal amount which went into scheme A and as well as the principal amount in scheme B. Is that clear? So yes. So because we don't know, we are saying principal amount, we will say X amount. Then we go to R. We are saying in scheme A, the rate was at 20%. Then we are saying this whole investment was taking a period of 1 year. Then we can compute now. We can now say X, this X multiply by, so we say 20% divided by 100, we are getting 0.2. 0.2. Then multiply by 1, which is the year. So when we multiply this, we'll get our answer as 0.2x. So say we'll have 0.2x as SIA. scheme 1, simple interest. Okay, so then let's consider scheme B. So let's go to
Oh, so before you get to scheme B, I'm just copying something.
okay, thanks. Sorry. Let me just bring down the screen. Okay, so we are saying scheme B. And scheme we are saying scheme B. Okay, so we are now saying that is scheme B. So scheme B, yes, we are going to say simple interest is equal to PRT. PRT. So in scheme B, it's also a similar case. The principal amount we don't know. Then multiply by R. Okay, let me use a different color, not this one. Yes, okay. Okay, so multiply by. So we are saying our rate was 0.1, which is 10%. So our rate in scheme B is at 10%. Then our year is 1 year. So let me scroll now. Okay. So we'll say equals x multiply by, so 10 divided by 100, that is 0.1 multiplied by 1, which is the year. So we'll have our answer as equals 0.1 x. Okay, so say that is SIB. So hello. Okay, so then we are saying that we have been given this amount here. This is 23,000 as the total disposable amount. So since we have been given this disposable amount, we are going to say let's do this. I'm going to say we're going to say SI. Let me just scroll this a bit up on top. Okay, so we are going to say just a moment. Okay, so we are going to say simple investment interest is equal to PRT, which we have already, RT. Okay, I don't know if you can permit me to open a new screen. This one is ticking, so just permit me to open a new screen. I know you have written on your end, so we'll still pick up from there. I think it's network which is failing us. Okay, start new canvas. All right. Okay, so we were saying that we're saying that SI, which is simple investment, is equal to P. Let's put it here, is equal to P multiplied by R multiplied by T. Okay, P multiplied by, okay, I think this one I'll stop sticking. So in scheme B, so we are saying that is equal to, so there is a principal amount. So we are saying principal amount is the amount which this girl had, Anita, was 23,000. Let's say 23,000. So we say 23,000 minus, we are in scheme B family. So take note that we are now in scheme B. So we are saying in scheme B, the total amount which she had was 23,000 minus an X amount which she invested now in scheme B. Then we'll say multiplied by 10%. So the interest was 10% in scheme B. Then the time was 1 year. So we are going to compute this. So it will be 23,000 minus X. So multiplied by 0.1. So it will be 0.1. So 0.1 multiplied by 23,000. So 23,000. So you multiply everything in the bracket by the figure outside. So say 23,000 multiplied by 0.1. So we'll have 2,300. Then 0.1 multiplied by X, we have 0.1x. So it will be 0.1x. Then equals SI. So at this point, we have now two equations. So this is, we'll say, this is equation 2. Then on the other end, we have equation 1. So we'll say, since SA SIA was equal to 0.2x. So say, since this is the same amount which was being used in these two investments, so say 0.2 is equal to 2,300 minus 0.1 x. Then we shall say solve now, solve for x. So I don't know if you are clear up to here. So now we'll rearrange this formula, I mean the equation we have on top. So we'll say 0. This is 0.1x. So we'll say 0.2 is equal to 2,300 minus 0.1x. So we can now rearrange. So this is also, this has got an x value because it's coming from the previous equation 1. So this was equation 1. Take note of that, please. So this was our equation 1. So we'll say 0. So we'll say 0.2x minus 0 plus 0.1x is equal to 2,300. So since we have 2x, we can add. So 0.2x plus 0.1x, it will be 0.3x. This will give us C equals 2,300. So over 0.3, then over 0.3. So then here we will cancel. Then our x is now equal to 7,600 and 0.67. So we therefore say this is the x for scheme A. So this is the this is the scheme A. Let's just say scheme A. So for us to find the amount which was invested in investment B, as we have been asked, so we shall say the total amount she had, this Anita, was 23,000 minus, so since in scheme A there was a 7,606.67 which was going through scheme A. So when we subtract, we say 23,000 minus 7,666.67, we are getting 15,300.33. So therefore this is, we say scheme B. So shall say therefore Anita's Anita invested so say Anita invested. Now you indicate the value in kwacha, since we are using kwacha, as 15,333.33. So this was the total amount this Anita invested. So that was the amount which was invested. So